Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Fran. In this channel, I share educational videos on trauma healing and everything about mental health. Today I wanted to talk about 4 biggest signs that you have been healing. If you have been doing your healing work, you know how difficult it is. And it's also a very long journey. And when we do have these relapses, we feel like we're not making progress. We feel like we're really disappointed with ourselves in going nowhere. If I look back, I would know that, well, things have been dramatically different. The way I deal with people, the way I approach life, the way I wake up every day, and the way I see people's intentions is entirely different. But when I'm trapped in the middle, like in this lengthy process, I don't really see that. So I don't really give myself much credit for making progress, for making improvements. That's why I really wanted to make this video, because I think it's essential for people who are doing the healing work to see this and to be reassured about going in the right direction by following our own intuition of healing and trusting the process. So let's jump right into it. The number one sign is this ability to notice and to accept positive intentions from other people. If we are traumatized as children, if we have been given a hard time by the most intimate people in our lives, like our parents, our grandparents, our cousins, our brothers and sisters, just any one of them, it really destroys our faith in the entire human race, because well, those people are supposed to be good for us, but they hurt us. Who else are we supposed to trust in the future? Our entire perception towards people are rooted towards negative. So whenever people are approaching our life, whenever we have tiny little bit disappointment in people, maybe they are busy, like they don't have time to hang out with us. Maybe they said they wanted to return a text, but they forgot. Maybe they have to prioritize something else in their life over us. We hold on to this negative belief that, well, see, I know you're going to fail me. I know this is going to happen. I know you all are going to leave me. Nobody really, truly wants to be in my life. And we're riveted towards this negative perception. So anything on top of that, well, adds more weight to our anxiety and depression. With time, we start to see people as like they are constantly evaluating us, they are constantly judging us. We feel like we have to measure up to their standard. If we do not, for a single minute, we're bad, we're going to be exiled, we're going to be rejected. When we start heal, we start to assume a tiny little bit more positive intention from people. Assuming positive intentions from someone doesn't really make you feel like, oh, you're being soft, you're being weak. Instead, you feel more gentle with other people. You feel like, well, they have their hard time, they are struggling. I understand that it's nothing personal. Well, they don't really try to hurt me, they don't really try to do this to me. They're just taking care of themselves, they're just meeting their own needs. Maybe at the beginning we still get triggered. We think, well, maybe you don't like me anymore, maybe you are disappointed with me. But with time, we start to allow a bit of space to view it in a more objective way. Or maybe they have a bad day. Maybe it's not about me after all. Maybe it's not because I did something wrong. It's nothing personal. So when we allow this alternative interpretation of people's behavior, of people's intention, towards a more positive light, even though a slightly positive light, that's a huge progress, because that's the number one step that we feel we are safe within us. We are safe towards the world, which means that we are enabled in the future to further explore the world with a little bit more flexibility, with a little bit more freedom, with a little bit more self-acceptance. And that is a huge step. And the second sign is this increasing ability to notice and regulate this habitual hurrying. In another word, you have this increasing ability to rewind and relax. For people who are traumatized, hurrying is a really triggering thing itself, and also it's a sign that you have been traumatized, because we have this sensation inside of our body, like it needs to constantly rush. It's like we don't have time to slow down, because we have so much to do, so much to prove, so much to change about ourselves. We have to create better things to prove our value, because we are not accepted just being here being who we are right now, not doing anything, not to prove to anyone, just being perfectly okay right here, right now, as who we are, which was not accepted when we are a child. For many years, my friends have been constantly like mocking me about, well, you just cannot sit still for a minute, can you? Whenever I have dinner with them, I'm always the first one to finish. I finish a large amount of food in a short period of time because I feel like I need to rush. So I just pick and choose everything I wanted to eat and I finish it. And I sat there uncomfortably and I would look at them. I was like, well, like I have to constantly watch my watch and what time is it? Like I need to maybe do something else, even though I don't really have anything to do. And my friend would laugh at me like, if you have something to just go already, just don't sit here and be so uncomfortable. And it's making us nervous. For years, I don't know why. Until recent years, when I go really deep into my therapy, I find out that hurrying, like rushing things, is a big sign of dysregulation, of that I am constantly on this fight or flight mode, like I need to, be anxious about something, I need to do something about it. If you have this ability, like when you do hustle, you hustle, but when you do wanted to take time for yourself, you have this ability to slow down and pay attention to your body and relax and, just chill. You allow yourself to not do anything, to not make changes to prove your value. You're okay being here, being who you are. And that really says a lot. And the third sign is that you start to have this reduced behaviors towards reflexive accommodating, which you can understand as less people-pleasing behaviors. A lot of us would automatically adopt this belief that we have to accommodate to someone else, to not be abandoned, to be accepted by them. If we are not accepted by them, if we are rejected and criticized by them, it means that we are bad at core. It means that we don't have value. And that is a really codependent behavior because we are placing our own value on someone else. If they think we're okay, then we're okay. If they don't think so, then we're horrible. We're bad at core. We don't deserve to live in the world. So a lot of us would start to develop this amazing ability of accommodating. Like we have to be the road to constantly appease someone, to please someone. We have to micromanage their facial expressions, their behaviors, their emotions, just to make sure that they don't abandon us. They don't start to have this negative view towards us. We have to make sure that we have to constantly monitor their impression on us, their thoughts on us. So people pleasing is very common in people who have been traumatized. And if you start to find out that you start to develop your own sense of self, like you start to have your own opinions, you start to allow yourself to express those opinions, you start to maybe view things differently, like you don't automatically jump into the same conclusion. Social anxiety is also very common in people who have been traumatized because we're used to be judged negatively by people and we start to assume this negative intention from anyone. And when we're socially awkward, when we're socially anxious, people pleasing is also a very safe way to go for us, like this negative habitual pattern, right? So if you start to notice yourself in social occasions, you allow yourself to express your individual opinion and even confront people who don't really share the same value as you do. It means that you are awakening from that helpless, hopeless, that victimized child. You are claiming your individual power. You're claiming your self-agency. That is a really essential skill towards healing. The last sign is that you start to notice and be curious about little things in life. This one might sound a bit cliche because we tell people every day, like, well, you need to be grateful for life. You need to appreciate the little things in life. And no matter how hard I tried, it just doesn't really work. In a grateful journal doesn't work for me. Being grateful doesn't really work for me. You wanted me to appreciate the messy, this horrible life that my parents, my dad especially, throw to me. I cannot appreciate that. I don't think this is how it meant to happen. This is not a normal thing happening to a child. So I don't think that's something I wanted to be grateful for. What I'm saying is not that you're forcing yourself to be grateful for everything in your life, for like you have a roof over your head, or you have food in the refrigerator and all that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like automatically you will notice the little things in your life. Maybe one day you start to notice a building when you're walking down the street that has been there for years, but most of the time, because you're trapped in your head, you're like imagining and fantasizing about things, you weren't really noticing that. And that's actually what happened to me. Like, I've been living in the same place for years, but I never really noticed there are so many things in my life. Like, I see this shape of a leaf. I've never noticed it's shaped like that. And I've noticed this kind of bird who has this blue and black feather all over his body, and it's really beautiful, but I didn't notice it for years. I started to make sense and use my brain for a lot of things, but before I was so preoccupied with the stories, with the negative beliefs, with the voices, the inner critics in my head. I never had the energy, I never had the attention to notice things around me. But it wasn't my fault. I wasn't blaming myself. It was so consuming. The depression, the anxiety, the stories of my past, they were just too overwhelming. They were exhausting for a child like me. So for years, I was buried in the negative perception towards the world. I never really had the time and attention to notice things. But recently, I started find this peace of mind. It's just different, and it's just weird that for years I've never noticed that. I've never had that feeling, that peace of mind, that serenity inside of me. And I talked to my therapist about this, and she was like, well, that's such a great thing for you, because as you move further in healing, you will experience more surprising things you have never been through before. And that really gave me huge hope towards healing, because I started to know that, well, now I can be in the world. I can explore with permission from myself. I can be free, I finally can be free of fear. I finally can be free of the bad stories from the past. I feel like I'm living for the first time, for the first day, and that was a really magical moment for me. Alright everyone, I hope this video is helpful. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you wanted to see more videos like this, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.